Yeah, first of all, I'm very glad to be there, although I'm not really with you, but still being there somehow. Actually, my aim was to make an invisible topic in Germany visible. It's of course not 100% invisible, and it's not a new topic. But for me, in my generation, I'm 27 years old now. There is no media, no film, nothing really about this topic and about this generation and about the generation of my grandfather. So it was somehow a very personal project for me. And then I very fast realized that it's not a only project for me, but there's a big target group, and lots of people also think so and want to see such a movie, and that was my aim to do this film. Actually, there are certain moments, but what is most important for me is that although it's a political film, I don't want to be a politician at this stage. So it was always important for me to open up questions and to give you the feeling you're sitting next to those people and listening to them. But it was always important for me to not to be too political in the meaning of not answering any political solutions or questions or whatever, because that's not the focus of the film. But of course, there were certain moments, and even for me as a director, when I was sitting in the living room of those people, it was very emotional, even for me, with all of the protagonists. So first of all, they're all very fine, and they're all doing very good. For me, this was a project when I started. It was 4 or 5 years ago, and it was always my aim to have a premiere in a nice cinema with all these protagonists being there. And as you may know, like all the protagonists are 70, 80 years and older. It was not always like 100% realistic to have a premiere in 4 or 5 years with all the protagonists. So when we had this premiere in January this year and all the protagonists were there, it was a very emotional feeling. And although cinema is very emotional for me, for this generation, which actually don't know Amazon, Netflix, and all this stuff, like cinema and premiere was a lot more emotional. And yeah, they're all doing good. To be honest, like the protagonist, Bartolomeo Secchi, which came from Italy, he said at the end of the movie that this movie somehow makes the people remember him, even if he's not living anymore. So or if he's gonna die one day. So this somehow was like when he said that, I never thought about that, but when he said that, it was like this movie gives, like, documents all the stories which maybe cannot be told in 4, 5, or 10 years, or maybe in 1 year. This was very emotional for me to understand that this movie should be made now, like should be finished now and not in 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Not really, because this is not a new topic for me, of course. But it's always something different to, like, we all know what guest workers are, what migration is, and where the people come from, and how it's going to be there, and how it's going to working, and the political stuff. We already know it from news and all this stuff. But it's, for me at least, very, very different to be in a living room, sitting next to one person and listening to him or her. And this, so my worldview didn't change with this movie, but it brought me somehow closer to the protagonists, and making me feel how it's gonna be if you leave your country and leave your family, and sitting in a train, driving 70 hours to Germany, being there in a complete new country, not knowing the language, not knowing the people there, not knowing the culture. So this movie and this protagonist make me understand that. I don't know exactly. It's somehow too political, I guess, to give you the right answer. I'm not the expert for this, but at least through my eyes and in my perspective, since we have this new refugee migration over the last years, of course, lot more people, even in my generation, did understand the aspect of migration, because we, like at least in my generation, we don't usually come in touch with those topics emotionally, since we live in, like, when we live in Germany, we have our education system. When I go to other countries, it's not migration. It's somehow like studying and doing holidays and what this else. So I think the perception definitely has changed, but as you may also know, there's also a huge racism problem still there. It was there in the 60s, in the 70s, and it's still there in various European countries. So I think our work is not totally done, and there is still a educational potential to speak about those topics. I think it can. It definitely can, because what's somehow missing, like, I cannot speak for the whole education system, but at least for my own education here in Germany, somehow, and sometimes it's in our education system, we miss we leave the emotional stuff away. It's always like facts and facts, figures, and all this stuff, which is also important. But somehow, for my part, it's very important to give young people also emotions and feelings, to make understand why this topic is important and how the people did feel. So I definitely think this is a good opener movie to get in touch with the topic and the protagonists. It will definitely not answer all your questions, but it's a very good opener to get in touch with those topics. Yeah. Actually, after producing such a film for 4 or 5 years, you're as a director, you're very, very, very happy when it's somehow done, and you can watch the film in the cinema, and that's what I will do. So the film is starting in German cinemas this month, and we'll make a cinema tour through Germany and through various migration organizations here in Germany. And it's always nice to not produce a movie, but to see people reacting to this movie and making some people think about this topic. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do next weeks and months. Perfect. Thank you.